Peace, y'all. Peace, love, and blessings to you all. Welcome back to Redefining Authenticity. I am Sheronda L. Barksdale, your spiritual life empowerment coach at Authentically Your Expressions, LLC, where we are helping you live your most authentic life.
Yes. And I am Kim Martin Raymond, your toolbox essentialist and founder of Redefining You LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit. And I am also home of the 365-day challenge, where we are on day 111. Check it out.
I like that number.
Oh my goodness.
I like that number.
Yes.
111. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I am at home. I got in from Houston on Friday and was here with my family for the Resurrection Sunday, and I'll be heading back out. I'm going to a retreat tomorrow, but I'll be in town, and then I'll be heading to Tampa at the end of the week. So I'm just here for a moment, just skating through on a skateboard. I'm just sliding through. Then I'm going right back up into the air.
Okay, let's go. I'm glad you're home. You feel close to me, even though we aren't together right now. But guess what Kim will be doing? Coming to buy her pillow soon.
Hey.
The mindfulness moments. Let me pick up my laptop. We got some pillows.
Yes,
it's not even close to all the ones we have, but
I already see one I want. Okay, yes. So you don't even look. Don't look. I get first dibs.
Come and get her pillow, but make sure you visit my website at authenticallyyourexpressions.com or go to, if you're on my YouTube, just click on the link at top and it'll send you right over there. You can check out all the pillows because there's about to be 50 of them real soon on there. And we're about to do this thing so we can practice mindfulness meditation. Feel like notice your girl finally took out her braids.
Rocking
the locks.
I'm feeling it.
Yes, the micro locks. I was sick of the braids getting hot.
Okay. Yes. Okay. That's why you're gonna see this just keep going up and up and up. Okay.
That hair's gotten long over the years, girl. I've been watching.
10 years. It's a long time, and it's gonna stay up. And people are like, "How you wash your hair so long?" It's long
because
and it's like a towel on your head. Don't look.
It feels like a towel on your head over time. I think that's why I cut mine so many times because after a while it's like. But don't cut yours.
I'm so thinking about it. I am.
But if you cut yours, don't do what I did. Just kind of get a.
Yeah, I might make it like a bob. I don't know.
Don't do that. I won't bob.
We gonna see. But I got this 5 head, so I may need that hair to be swooping around this. I need to do a comb over on the 5 head.
No, I'm not about to entertain her, y'all.
All right, let's get cracking. We can sit here and
I love the banter.
I do
banter at the beginning because it's my baby. Yes. So we've started a relationship series because a lot of people are talking about relationships and dating. And when it comes to redefining your authentic self, sometimes you want to approach dating differently. You went through a transition, right? Maybe it was divorce. Maybe you got divorced. Maybe like myself, I'm a widow. So I had to consider dating again. Maybe you just broke up with someone out of a long-term relationship and it was hard. It was just a hard experience. And so now you want to do it differently. Now there's a different approach. So me and Kim were like, let's talk about dating.
Yeah.
And relationships. Why not?
Yes, like you said, it's going to be a series, and it may go for a little while here because there are so many dynamics to relationships, But I think that the biggest relationship, first and foremost, is the one with ourselves, and so that's what redefining authenticity is all about. It's about us, getting into a right relationship with ourselves first.
Yes.
Loving on ourselves first.
Yes.
Making sure that, the aura that we're giving off to others, the energy that we're giving off to others comes from within. Yes. And so, once you have that on lock and once you've been working on, your wellness, mind, body, and spirit, then, you get to that point where you say, I think I'm ready to step out there. I think I'm ready to share, my existence with another, beyond just the friendship zone. You may be looking to go into something a little more significant. So That's where we're going to try to go.
And please understand what me and Kim are saying. You have a relationship with yourself first. We're not even touching the relationship you have with what you believe, your higher power. We don't touch it because that should be a given. We believe that. But we've watched people who are devoted and faithful to what they believe, but still struggle in relationships. So that's where we step in. That's what we were given our gifts to help you navigate the process. So let's go, Kim.
That's it. All right. So do we want to do the, hold on, let me get my little slide up here.
Let's go.
Yes.
So these are the things that we're talking about tonight to look for in these relationships, because this is also something that you apply to yourself, because Kim already said it. What's your relationship with yourself? And accountability to self is important. But when you're looking into relationships, is this person accountable? Do you see them being accountable? So the first one says, can apologize for poor behavior. Can they apologize for poor? Something simple as when you first meet someone for running late. When they show up, is there a genuine apology? And it doesn't feel like it's full of excuses, because that's irritating. You want to set a woman off, you want to set a man off, run late, and then act like it didn't happen.
Right.
That speaks volumes about who you are as a person. Can they apologize? That's big for me, because relationships ain't about being perfect. No one's perfect. But when there's a mistake being made, can you say, I'm sorry?
Right. That's huge. That's huge. And like you said, it goes both ways. Okay. When we're talking about these things, when we're talking about looking at a relationship involves two people. So the accountability is not just on that person, it's on you as well. So that same question that you're looking for, that you're asking, are you willing to reciprocate? Are you willing to do the same thing? So if you're asking that person to be able to apologize for their poor behavior, can you do the same? Yes. Because just like Sheronda said, we're not perfect. So if we're not perfect and we're asking, somebody else to apologize for that, are we willing to do the same thing? Because sometimes when you haven't been in a relationship in a while and you're set in your ways, sometimes you don't realize that you've done something or you've said something that may have, been a little abrasive, and you have to step back and say, "Ooh, I forgot I'm in this relationship. I got to remember, as a gentleman, you may have to say, oh, I just remember to hold that door. I'm so used to just walking in the door and letting the door slide behind me. Sometimes I forget."
Yes.
But if you take that misstep, are you willing to apologize? I am so sorry. And to be genuine about it.
Yeah.
Don't be like that kid who hits another child and just says sorry. Your mom says, say sorry. You just say sorry. You don't mean it. And you hit him again if you could.
So that's a problem. I can't stand that. When somebody says sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I offended you. Even if you don't agree about what happened, I'm sorry that I offended you is an apology.
Thank you.
Poor behavior.
I like that.
It's poor behavior. So this next one says self-aware. And that's something most people really aren't. I have to throw it out there. It's hard to be able to be aware. It's just a difficult thing in the first place. So it does require a level of work with life coaches like ourselves that helps you become a little bit more self-aware in what you need. You could tell what a person needs when they sit down and say, I need you to hold that door open for me. It makes me feel like a woman. If you are aware of what you need, you're able to express it. And you can hear it from someone else when they say, you know what, I realized I didn't hold that door open for you, and I apologize. That awareness,
says everything.
It'll carry a relationship through, baby.
Yes. That's it. Well, just like you said, self-awareness is being able to say, like you said, be able to express what it is that you need.
Yes.
Think about it. Even look, I'm gonna go right there. I mean, I know we're talking about dating, but I'm even talking about intimacy. When you're self-aware, you know what you need. You know what feels good. You know what, I like that touch.
Yes.
I like to be touched here. My back is sensitive. I like to have my back rubbed. Or I may like those public displays of affection, those PDAs. I want to hold your hand. I want you to wrap your arm around me.
Yes.
And let people know that I'm yours and that we're together. So that self-awareness is being able to tap into those things that make you feel good, make that person feel good. Tell me what it is that you like.
Yeah.
Or being aware enough to know what your significant other likes.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So I love
And
that.
if somebody says, and this goes with self-inquiring too, because they're able to ask themselves what they're okay with. You could tell. Those kind of go hand in hand because a lot of people get offended. What I've learned, what I've been watching and reading and talking to people about dating, people are getting offended when someone does express something that they do not like. What are you getting offended for? You want somebody to know what they like. And if what they do or don't like doesn't suit you, that's why you get to walk away. That's why it's dating.
Right.
That's legit why you're dating, because
Right.
you're trying to come into alignment with someone. So if someone says, I don't like when you get on your phone while we're having a date, that's not your opportunity to be mad. Maybe that's just your thing, and that person isn't for you. Maybe you want to date somebody where both of y'all are on the phone the whole time you're at a date. But you don't get upset and frustrated about those. Ask those questions of yourself. Are you okay with someone who's on the phone most of the date?
Right.
And if they're doing that, that's just not your person. There's nothing wrong with them. Exactly. That's just not your particular person. We immediately want to act like something's always wrong with somebody because they're not behaving how we want them to.
Right.
So you have to ask those questions of yourself.
I love that.
This or don't I?
Right. And that's where, like you said, you're building at what are those things that are a no for you. This is in that same area of accountability. Yes. What are those things that are a hard no for me?
What a hard no.
You know, if I don't care how fine he is, if he puts a cigarette to his mouth, that's a no for me. I don't like people with the nicotine. I don't like the smell. I don't like how it gets on your lips and your breath and your fingers, and that's just a no. It's a no. And so it's being able to identify through self-inquiry what are those things that are a no for you.
Yes.
You know, and being able to be accountable for those things. Don't change your mind and then get mad when they do that thing that you said you didn't like in the first place, but you took that person in anyway because you out of desperation or whatever it was that made you go with that person. Now, don't be mad. Be accountable for the things that you said that you were standing 10 toes down on.
Period.
You know? So, because if you're not going to do that, then you're going to have to be flexible. And so you have to be able to, by self-inquiry, what is it that I'm saying is a no for me, and what am I saying is a yes, or what am I saying is a maybe?
Yes.
But this is that stage where you're developing what it is that are your yeses and your nos with regards to a relationship.
Absolutely. Listen, and then this last one says, can empathize with others. Listen, G might be watching, my boyfriend. I'm about to get in trouble. But me and him will watch a cooking show. You know, one of the cooking shows where they're doing eliminations each week. And both of us be teary-eyed when somebody going home. Because we done grew attached to this person and we love how they cook. Now they're going home. That empathy of, my gosh, they did all this hard work and now they're going home. You want to see somebody who cares about others, who has some level of feeling. Because that's a level of accountability. Because then I care about myself and you. If you can see them empathize with someone else, be like, oh man, my friend lost their cousin or their mom, or oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I wonder how I can support them. Then they can support you in those ways as well. She said, that's our business. I knew he was on. I love you, baby.
Yes.
I love you so much. I'm sorry. But that's one of my things I love him for, is because he's empathetic. When somebody else is going through something, he's not going to rush past that.
Right.
We're not going to brush that over. We're going to say a prayer. We're going to light a candle for their spirit. We're going to do whatever we can to care about that. And that's a level of accountability, because now when he's going through something, he can be accountable for his own feelings. Because if you know how other people are feeling, you know how you feel.
Right.
People who can't be in touch with themselves, girl, run, boy, run, do something.
Run. Exactly. Exactly. Like you said, empathy is a big thing. And I know it's another whole section that we're going to talk about. But just like you said, being able to empathize with someone else, to be able to say, I'm sorry that you had the experience that you had. That's huge when you're talking about empathy. I am sorry that you had the experience that you had. And if it is at all possible that I can pray for you or that I can do something for you, then go about doing that. That's showing empathy. Okay. That's not, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. That's not saying you got to be Captain Save a Hoe every 5 minutes. You trying to save the world. I'm not saying that you have to go social worker status. But what I'm saying is that if there is something that you can do to let that person know that, I heard what was going on. Because if you could do that with others, then they can do it. Because guess what? You're an other.
Yes.
You're the person in the relationship with it. So you're an other as well. And so he can empathize or she can empathize with you.
Yes.
If they can show empathy for other people outside of your relationship, then they should be able to show empathy within your relationship and to be able to say, baby, I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah.
I know you. I see yo too. I see yo. I don't know which one. I don't know what you're laughing at. but anyway, yes. My thing is, you want to just be able to have that level of awareness, and again, that comes with being self-aware, and that comes with being with having self-inquiry, knowing enough to say, "Dang, I'm sorry that you had that experience." And then maybe say collectively, babe, is there something that we can do collectively to help this person without enabling them? Yes. So she has a thin line when you start getting into that. But that level of awareness of saying, hey, I'm sorry that you had that experience just shows that you care.
Period.
Give a damn about somebody else outside of yourself. That's huge.
Yeah. Take us into safety, Kim.
Okay, into safety. All right, look, I have to go and look on my phone because I can't see the writing that small. I'm old, y'all. I'm old. Okay, so safety says your feelings are treasured. Okay, this is huge. As a person who has worked in childcare, I'm big on making sure that people feel safe. Okay, we always make sure that children feel safe when they're young, because with safety comes trust.
Yes.
Okay, and so if your feelings are treasured, and you know that person has that empathy and that awareness of what's going on with you and makes you feel safe, that's the beginning of trust.
Oh my God.
And we see so many relationships end as a result of distrust, but this trust comes, I no longer feel safe with the things that you're saying or the things that you're doing. So if my feelings are treasured, then I know that I'm heading in the right direction.
Period. And see, I want to tread lightly on this particular subject too, because a lot of I've heard women tell me about how they go into a first date, first time going to this relationship, whatever, and they automatically start telling their life story. And now you want this person to treasure your feelings when they were just trying to get to know the surface level of who you are. Sometimes people aren't that ready when they meet you for the very first time to be able to treasure all of that. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but there are some things that you have to slowly leak out and give you. Everybody's not privy to everything that's happened to you. They don't even deserve it. Let's be clear.
Right.
If I don't even know I'm about to have a second date with you, why am I about to tell you about all the people that died and all the bad things that happened to me and all this? You won't find that out immediately. Sometimes finding out if your feelings are treasured is somebody just saying, what would you like to eat? What would you like to order? That's it. Sometimes it's that simple. So how was your day? And them actually being attentive about that. We get too quick and are offended. I'm on social media mostly because of the work I do, not because I just enjoy it so much, but it helps me come up with topics to talk to you all about and different things like that. And these are not conversations you have to have with everyone, but you could tell if your feelings are treasured by the way that somebody handles you on that first date. If they're willing to listen, are they talking the whole time? Because I don't feel safe. Will they walk you to? Let me tell you something that's sexy to me. Going on a date and that nigga walking me, excuse me, and him walk me to my car before you go to yours.
Right.
That's a feeling of safety for me.
Yes. I love that. I love that. And you're right. Don't you just go and peel off. All right, good night. You don't walk me down there. How about, okay, you know the one that gets me? Here's the one that get me. And yo, too, let me know if we hitting on this one. I cannot stand when they ask you to come out to their place at night, and then you have to leave out, or you didn't come to my space, or you didn't come to get me, but you want me to drive in the dark,
right?
To come to
your spot,
okay? And didn't even and don't ask me if I'm okay, or I'm
check
supposed to go out. You the one. You
stayed outside when I pull up to that motherfucker. Shit.
I'm just saying. That drives me nuts. You want me to come out in the middle of the night to see and it's not even safe. And then you're not gonna walk me to the car. You just gonna go and close the door. Good night. Text me when you get there. What? Suppose I get a flat tire. Suppose something happens to me. And I'm out here at night. Please show me that I'm treasured by being at the ready to come and pick me up. Yes. Should something happen. Okay, yes, I'm married. Case in point, I was coming home Friday from the airport, getting back from my trip to Houston. I got right to I got 7 minutes away from the house.
Yes.
And got a flat tire. I was coming off my exit and I hit something in there. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Mr. Raymond was not even in town.
See?
But he called his friend, and within minutes, his friend was there changing my tire. Yes. Could I have changed the tire myself? Yes. But he was like, no, my wife does not need to be out in these streets. It was almost 11 o'clock.
See?
And he was like, oh, no. I'm going to send somebody to come and get you. Because he is concerned about his wife and making sure that I'm okay. So you want somebody to make sure they do. But like I said, that was because I was working. But if I'm going out on a date with you, why am I going out or coming to you, or you're saying, hey, come to my place, and then and not even considering the hour?
Yes.
Consider the time. To me, that's safety too. Are you putting me in a position where I'm safe?
Yes.
Let
me tell you something. That's part of what I miss about my husband, my late husband. Before me and Cal ever got married, Cal he drove tow trucks for a living. But his company, they mostly did salvage. Like if somebody had a car accident and the car was at their house and they wanted to salvage the car, the insurance company's paying for it, whatever. He pick it up and bring it to the salvage yard. Baby, let me get a flat. The way that car was getting dropped and he was coming to pick me up from the side of the road. Man, my man is great now. Don't get me wrong. We got a tow truck. That's all I'm saying. That was all.
Yeah.
But that's that feeling of safety.
Yes. But just like you say, you're crazy. I'm looking at what Yo Tu says. She says, if I'm the max in my situation, I'm going. If I'm the man, I don't know if you meant man there in the situation. I will not ask a woman to do that.
Change the damn tire.
Exactly. I'm not going to ask her to come out and I mean, even like I said, I'm married, but back in the day when I was dating, there was some guys, hey, come and meet me out here, but
come on.
You didn't say you were gonna come pick me up. You said, come and meet, and that's okay. I understand going individual cars, but if you're talking about coming to houses and it's too much.
I don't even like the thought of them. Don't ask me to come to your house on the first day either. That's part of safety. You should go ahead and assume that I'm not coming. Right. Just go ahead and assume. If we want to do something after we ate dinner and we want to go for coffee or go to a late night spot where we can sit and talk, cool. But don't even ask me to come nowhere. Anyway, I'm gonna listen.
Or follow me home in your car. I can understand we going in separate cars. Then follow me home in my car, or at least follow me to the expressway, or talk to me on the way there or something.
I like the attach ain't funny. I ain't going nowhere. But anyway, the next one said, and we might make this particular one might have to be two.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But The next one, you respect your partner's reality. Yo, that is big. Yes. Just because something is not true to you doesn't mean it's not true to them. If you can acknowledge when somebody is hurt, you win 9 times out of 10. Right. You don't have to agree with what's real. You just need to be able to acknowledge and respect it. For me, right. So going back to the example of I'm not coming to your house on the first date. Maybe I had a really bad experience with a man. And so I say to you, I don't want to come to your house. I had a really bad experience before. You just scared. If you're scared, you say you're scared. That right there will piss me off, and there'll never be a second date. And guess who's okay with that? Her. So okay with that. When people have a reality, when something happened to them previously, and they're still working through those emotions and those feelings, you have to surrender to that. That's if that man says, I've had bad experiences with supporting a woman financially, so I just hesitate a little bit. You don't start popping off and calling him broke. That's not what you get to do. Right. You don't get to call him broke because he won't do something for you. If their experiences was bad, it was bad. But if the person's still a good person, you hang around, and guess what? They'll show up for you eventually, but let them do it, and you respect the reality that they've lived. None of us have lived the same reality. So how do you expect to date? I don't understand this for the life of me. How do you expect to date and expect this person to turn into everything you think they should? Who the fuck are you? And I meant what I said just now. Who are you? There's somebody who has to shift into everything that you need. When you meet somebody, either they have it or they don't. Right. It's okay to walk away.
That's okay. The key. That's the key. That is the key. I mean, you said it. You said just about everything that I was going to say as well. You that's part of empathy as well. Being able to understand that that's that person's reality. I'm sorry that you had that experience. Yes. What can I do to make it better?
Yes.
What can I do to help to ease that pain? Mm-hmm. And if it's something where that person is just going off and it seems as though they need a therapist, and you're not that may be where you say, okay, well, maybe this is just something, maybe this is a little bit more than I'm willing. And that's the beauty of dating. You're in that phase of being able to say, okay, this is, I think I'm cool with this, or I'm not. Yeah. You don't want that person to come and dump everything on you, because that's a bit much too. Sometimes respecting their feelings or treasuring their feelings is saying, hey, it may be, that may be something that, therapy may be needed.
Be able to help.
That may be able to help. And that's a hard conversation to have on the first date, but you may just have to say, you may just have to be like, in your mind, or if that person says a second date, you just may say, you know what, I just don't know that this is something that I'm prepared for. And you can, and then just leave it at that. Or I don't know that we're going to be a fit for each other. And that's difficult because people are always, and I have to say that a lot of women, or there are some women that are guilty of this. They need to have that closure. They need to have that. But my whole thing is why? Why do you need that? Because if the person has made it clear that they don't want to be in a relationship with you, it doesn't matter what the circumstances may be around that. You go ahead on and do what you can do regarding, the next relationship that you're going to. But that whole closure piece, and I mean, and like I said, we can have a conversation about this, Sheronda, because I'm not, I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's that whole thing of I've got to have closure. You got to tell me why. And my whole thing is in finding out why. What is it that you hope to glean from that? What is it that you and I mean, and I have asked clients, I have asked, my close sister girlfriends. I have one sister girlfriend who was just like, I just need to know why. Why do you need to know? Why do you need to know if he's already told you that he is not seeking to further the relationship with you? What else is there that you need to know?
Y'all gonna learn how to say deuces. Y'all gonna have to learn how to not take it personal. It's not when you are dating someone, it is no longer work. I guess I understand a little bit more when it's long term, 3 to 5 years, 2 to 5 years type situation, and it's ending abruptly, and you need some understanding because everything seemed okay. But when we're talking about dating today, and we're talking about those first few weeks to even to the 90-day mark, where it's not working, it simply is not working. Y'all bullshit. You're supposed to be dating multiple people at the same time, but that's me. Date them. I ain't say fuck it. I ain't saying having sex with a bunch of people at the same time. I'm saying keep your options open. When you're single, you're allowed to have experiences with people.
Right.
It's just experiences. This isn't falling in love. And because people are attaching emotions to dating, you hurt when a date no longer works. I feel like I need to get my belt out, girl. It's a date. The way you make yourself feel safe, because we're talking under safety. This thing says you feel safe in all ways. Number one, you have to know how to protect thyself.
Right.
Your emotions do not need to get involved when you're dating someone. You're learning. Do you fall in love when you're reading a damn book? With what? It's just a book. And that's just what you're dealing with when you're first dating. You're learning. You're turning the pages.
Right.
You're getting deeper into the subject of that person. You're learning how they treat their kids if they have any. You're learning how they treat themselves. You're learning what type of job. Why are we so emotionally involved and feel so entitled to somebody making you feel some kind of way? You have to know how to protect yourself. And that starts with you and your heart. Yes. You're broken in dating because you think somebody owes you something. You owe yourself everything. Nobody owe you nothing when it comes to dating. What they should show you is who they are, and you owe yourself the privilege to say, I don't like it, I'm out. That's what dating is about. This is not about falling in love. We're talking about the things that we can look for when we're meeting people and we're getting to know them. And being able to, that light going off when things show up.
Right.
Does this person make me feel safe? When they walk me to my car. Right. They don't grab me. That's one thing I don't like. Feeling safe in all ways. Don't touch me. Don't touch me until it looks like it's welcome. It's welcome. Until you see the body language showing it. Don't grab me. Don't grab my arm. Don't touch. Even the lower back thing to gently, it's cute, but I just met you.
Right.
It feels offensive. So I need to feel safe, but that's part of my journey.
You're exactly.
Sheronda knowing who she is.
Exactly.
Don't grab it's the first time we go. I love those conversations we had on the phone, and I met you over there at Walmart, and we texted and we talked a few times.
Right.
Now we going out, and you grab my hand. Don't touch me. Don't touch. I really am like that. I don't like that.
Get off me.
Now you're doing too much.
Right. But that's where, like you said, that goes back to the accountability and the self-awareness and the everything. I need to, like you said, I need to know it for myself. I need to know what's good for me, what makes me feel safe. You know, some people, if they're in too close of proximity, like you said, then there's a level of discomfort. I feel weird, or I don't, I just, but there are some people who like that affection.
Yes.
They haven't dated in a while. Nobody's touched them in a long time. So they welcome that.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
I felt triggered.
They welcome that.
They want some touch.
So they're like, oh, and they don't mind the touch, but that's where you're creating those boundaries too. Because in safety, and when we're talking about you feeling safe in all ways and your partner feeling safe with you, that you're not too aggressive and that person is not too aggressive. You're feeling each other out. You're taking your cues. And that's what he's saying. Sometimes if you go to put your hand out and that person draws back, okay, I see that person is a little uncomfortable. Yes. So I'm going to withdraw. I'm not going to keep making advances.
Yes.
Okay, and that's not just men, that's women too.
It's women too.
Be careful about the advances that you're making. Like Sheronda said, watch the body language. Your body language will tell if you're vibing with that person, or if that person is feeling a little offended. be careful. Watch for the signs, because the flags are always flying. We just choose to ignore them.
Yeah.
Whether they're red or green, we have to be careful about, what it is that is a boundary for us. What is it that I'm going to say I'm comfortable with and I'm not comfortable with? Safety leads to trust.
Yes, it does. All that touchy-feely, sometimes people can misread.
Mm-hmm.
They'll misread it as, oh, she might be willing to go a little bit further. He might be willing to go a little further, when they're actually not. So we have to be accountable for what we're willing to allow. If I'm sitting at a table with you and I'm rubbing my hand up and you're sitting next to me, first day I like to sit across from somebody. The more I get to know someone, I love when we sit next to each other in the booth. It's just a thing for me. But if I'm rubbing your thigh and rubbing your leg, that feels like an approach to some women and men. It feels like an approach to sexuality, to intimacy, that kissing, that long touch, and coming in the house and you walking out in the negligee and things like that. People interpret it as maybe something you didn't even intend it. You didn't even intend. So you have to be mindful of feeling safe. What does that look like? What does that feel like to you? And being willing to expand those boundaries when you're ready. And the person who you're dating should be able to respect anything that you say. Respect the boundaries. If I say, you walk me to my door at the end of the day, one thing I won't do on the first date is, or second or third, it's a few of them that I won't do is, number one, let you drive me. You're not picking me up. I don't want anyone to do that. I like having that's part of my own safety. I want to be able to leave when I want to leave. That's just how I am.
Right.
But if we get to the fifth date and you walk me to my door and we have this prolonged kiss at the door and it's time to, and I say, would you like to come in? That's me inviting you into a boundary that I didn't invite you into before. And if I say, no, I don't want you to come in, then you should be able to respect that.
Right. Right.
Safe.
Right. And just like you said, that safety to me is, let's start outside. Because especially if you have children, you don't necessarily want. When I was dating, I was not bringing anybody to my house. I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I had 2 daughters at the time. And I was just like, you're not coming to my house. You're not even going to know where I live because I don't know enough about you yet. So we're going to be outside at the park, wherever. And just like you said, I'm coming in my own vehicle and everything else like that until we get to a point where I'm comfortable or where I feel like it's okay for you to come into my space. Safety also means that you have the things that you need in case something should go awry. You may have to have you may have to have mace, or you may have to have something. And I'm just, and that's going to the extreme. But I mean, when it comes to being safe, especially as a woman, you have to be able to prepare yourself. You have to be able, to defend yourself should things not go the way you think they should. That's why it's best to start in an open area where there are a lot of people walking around, where people can observe you and you can people watch and people can watch you. They have all of these symbols and signs that people are making when they're not safe and things like that. There's too many things going on in this world, and so safety is huge.
Yes, and we have to respect other people's need for it.
That's right,
as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So here we are in empathy.
Yeah.
We'll talk about empathy. We talked about a little bit with accountability. But the first one said, wounds are respected and never exploited. Boy, that's a big one.
Huge.
Because people will share things, being vulnerable during the dating process. And this is what I went through. And so like a young lady I knew, she had lost a baby. And then along the dating process, because she wouldn't do something he wanted, that's why you don't have no babies now. That's exploitation.
Yeah.
That's exploiting a wound. That when somebody finds out that you don't have a great relationship with your mom, that's why your mama don't like you now. Wounds should never be exploited. People who throw daggers like that mean, number one, they haven't dealt with their own pain. So 9 out of 10, you don't want to deal with that anyway. But then for them to turn around and hurt you,
right,
with your own pain, pay attention.
That's it. That's it. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. But that's exactly what you're doing. Just like you said, it's not a matter of exploiting somebody. It's not a matter of using portions of their trauma that they felt that they trusted to share with you, and then have you to use that against them, or to say that's the reason why they're in a situation that they're in. You know, that, like you said, that those are hard daggers to throw. And it's enough that that person felt safe enough, or they felt that they were safe enough to tell you in the first place. And then you turn around and use that against it. And that immediately causes distrust. Now I don't know whether I can tell you anything, because I don't know whether it's going to come back to haunt me.
Yep.
You know, so, and just like it says right here, it says secrets are shared, never abused. Okay. Because again, like I said earlier, with that safety comes trust. And now here it is. I am trusting you with information about my past. And my thought is that you're going to honor what it is that I'm sharing with you, and that you're not going to use that as a means to
yes,
to gaslight me.
Yes.
For lack of a better word.
Yes. And this goes back to safety, where it said your feelings are treasured. When your feelings are treasured, people don't do that to you.
Right.
People don't say those type of things, and you don't say those type of things to someone when you treasure and care about their feelings. I don't care how mad you are.
That's right.
And I'm so tired of grown adults who don't know how to stick to an argument. I might have to write that down too. Knowing how to argue.
Yes.
Knowing how to freaking argue. When you're arguing with somebody, this is about what we're upset about. I'm mad that you left your shoes right here in the middle of the floor and I broke my neck. That's the argument, then that's the argument. Or did you decide to use that to be abusive, to hurt somebody's feelings and bring up some stuff that you heard that went through with their last boyfriend or something?
Right, right.
And now I'm going to attack you with it. It's tacky. And y'all want healthy relationships. People don't know what a healthy relationship is if you can't even have a healthy argument.
Right.
If I'm upset with you about one thing because of something you said to me, then I want to talk about that.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about what my mama said 3 weeks ago, or that time when you told me that somebody said your breath stink, and now today I'm talking about you talk about my big toe, and it's just too much.
Right.
And that's why we can't get anywhere, because y'all being disrespectful. You're not respecting each other, and you're not empathizing. That is, man, can we talk about some? I hope this doesn't go over people's head, because having a healthy relationship doesn't come. I don't see it often, but that's my favorite part of coaching. I love individual coaching, but something about when you're doing two people, when you're doing coaching, and you're showing you're teaching them their own awareness.
Yes.
But then now understanding why they come at each other the way they do. Yeah. There's so much healing in that space. When you're an empathetic person, you have no desire to break somebody's spirit.
I see.
Because it'll hurt you first.
Yeah, just like you said. And just like it says here, it says you feel seen, valued, and heard, and you see, value, and hear your partner. Okay? You're learning that person. You're learning things about that person, and you're taking the time to do that. As time goes on and you're building a relationship, you'll see the benefits of that. Yes. You know, I because I'm married, and I can go into a store and I can see something, and I can remember my husband saying, "Oh, man, the buckle on my belt is tearing." And I may be in the store and be like, "Oh man, look at them belts are on sale over there. Let me go and grab one for him," because I've taken time. Or if I know that there's something that he likes, and I see it, and it's on sale, and then I'm just like, "Oh man, he likes that food, or he likes that particular snack. Let me grab that for him." And it's just having that level of awareness.
Yes.
And I mean, and it shows that he values me, that he's taken time to realize that there was something that I said or did, and he was able to act on that. And it's just like, wow, something so simple. We went for Valentine's Day to a winery, and they gave all of the women a rose, and the head on my rose fell off, and I had it wrapped in a paper towel, and I had it sitting on the table, and he saw it there, and I didn't know he saw. I had left it on the table that night, and he came and he brought me 12 dozen roses, and I said, "What are these roses for?" And he said, "I bought these roses because I saw that you took the rose that the head fell off of, and you had it in that paper towel, and so that rose was special to you. So I wanted to get you roses." And I was like, "What?" It's when you take that level of awareness in that person, and you value them enough to say, I noticed that something was special to them, and I wanted to act on that.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's a beautiful thing, especially when it's not something that was premeditated. What he wasn't expecting anything as a result of that. He was looking to have his ego stroked as a result of that. It was just hey, I noticed that this was something, and it seemed to be special to you, so I got these roses for you. Exactly. I was totally taken aback.
And see, when it comes to redefining authenticity for myself, and I'm looking at accountability, I'm looking at safety, and I'm looking at empathy. The three things we talked about tonight. I'm not married, but I was married. I'm a widow now, and so part of what redefining me and what it means to me about being in a relationship and dating someone is not doing the same thing I did before.
Right.
If I'm going to do it again, I want to do it a little bit better. I love my husband, and we learned at the end of his life was the best time in our relationship ever. We went through some serious growing pains. We had to learn about empathy. We had to learn about safety. We had to learn about accountability during the marriage. But now here I am at 45 years old, dating again, in an amazing relationship with someone, but I'm not doing the same thing I did before. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. And I look crazy, at least to myself. I don't care who else is looking. But to me, I'm going to feel crazy if I take a step down from where I was before. So our encouragement for y'all tonight is really about redefining it. I don't care if you've only dated one person and you've come across this video. The second time around, when you go into that next date, now you know how to know yourself.
Right.
Now you know how to be accountable for yourself and expect accountability. And I'm going to say also, don't be afraid to want what you want.
Right.
Don't be afraid to say what you need, because the person who is your person has no problems with you articulating. They have no problems with meeting your needs, and you'll have no problem meeting theirs. The person that you think you want and they won't meet it, or you feel scared to say it, that's not your person. And I mean it just like that. That's not your person. If you cannot verbalize what you need and what you know about yourself, there's a problem, baby. And you reach out to me for some coaching. We need to talk.
That's right. That's right. Like you said, just to piggyback off of what Sheronda said, and to kind of wrap things up, it's a matter of knowing yourself. It's a matter of knowing what it is that you want. It's a matter of also knowing or seeing what it is that you don't want when it happens. Just saying, okay, well, no, this is not for me. But remember this: when you're going out on that first date, you're going out with an open mind. Some people are looking at the end of I'm going out because I'm going out. I'm looking for my husband. That's a strong statement to say, without even getting to know that person yet. Yes, you may be looking down the road for what you want long term, but sometimes when you're doing that, you miss the beauty of what's happening right now. Okay, so say that you want to say there's a restaurant that you want to go to, that you've been dying to go to, and you just didn't want to go by yourself. And now that person says, hey, well, let's go and let's get together. How about you suggest, hey, let's go to this such and such. I heard such and such restaurant is good. Guess what? Already prepare yourself to have a good time, because you're going someplace that you wanted to go to eat some food that you wanted to try. And so even if it doesn't work out,
right,
you at least had an opportunity to go to a place that you want. And sometimes we focus on those other exterior things, and then we miss out on the beauty of the experience.
Yeah.
So dating is also about experiences that you have and connections that you're making, because that person may not be your person, but that person may be a good resource. That person may be a good reference for something else.
Yep.
So you don't know what it is that that person can bring. So sometimes you're so focused on, oh, I'm looking for my future husband, so let me just go ahead and cancel this person, that you miss out on the now. You miss out on the beauty of that first date or that first experience that you had. So start chalking
Absolutely.
up those experiences as things that are going to, help you as you move forward, because your confidence is going to build from that.
That's
If you're
right.
constantly looking, no, that person didn't work, no, that person didn't work, you're setting yourself, or you begin to you start to feel rejected.
That's it.
Oh, I guess I'm just not good enough. I'm never going to find anybody. But look at all the experiences that you had.
You got your ass out the house.
Okay, Shazam.
Yo, you gotta start finding some silver linings and enjoying your moments. Enjoy
Yeah,
every moment. That's why my business, my product business is the mindfulness moments. The opportunity to be mindful and present and enjoying what you do have. You no longer have the past. You no longer have the last 50 minutes of me, Kim, talking.
that's right.
That's gone. You
That's
won't
right.
have the future just yet because we ain't get there yet. What do you have in front of you? And what can you enjoy about what you do have in all spaces of your life?
That's it. That's it. So, like I said, this is just the beginning of our relationship series.
Yes, it
Okay. It's
is.
all about relationships, and that's what we're going to be talking about in the weeks to come, and the different dynamics and aspects of it. So hopefully you guys will tune in. Okay. Make sure that you like, follow, share, and subscribe. Our
Yeah.
YouTube channels have been scrolling across the bottom of the screen since the beginning of the show, and you can also see the QR codes at the end of the show. And
Yes.
make sure that you're following us. Let us know some things that you want to talk about relationships. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk
And
about
and
it.
make sure that we're creating platforms and opportunities for us to share and to grow and to be authentically ourselves. All right. So with that, I'm going to say we hope that you have a beautiful rest of your evening. Make
Yeah.
sure again that you like, follow, share, and subscribe. Make sure you check out Sheronda's website. Like I said, she got those pillows coming. Make sure that you check out my website for the 365-day challenge. If you haven't joined, again, we're in day 111 and we are going strong. So,
I
like
love
I
it.
said, check us out and see what's happening in our now. Okay. And until we see you guys the next time,
Love y'all.
we say peace.